Yeah, we just kind of.
All right, baby. We in.
We were.
So we're live.
Hell yeah.
We're live right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're baby. We're in.
We were just saying how this is better than the no intro. Do you agree with that? I guess I just said something.
I know it's like a new concept, like a no intro.
Well, since the live, like kind of, it feels kind of weird. Let's do the intro now. Like I don't know, it feels weird.
All right.
Well, I think majority of the use for you on this is that you cut it up and reuse bits of it anyway. So the intro is kind of obsolete anyway.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That's exactly what it's about. It's the clips.
Yeah, it's all about the clips. I mean, yeah, everything is the clips now.
Tom, first of all, how you doing, Tom?
I'm good, man. I'm stoked. It's been a good year. You know, I usually dislike this time of year.
I'm trying to be less
grinchy. I'm trying to be less grinchy because it's been a good year. And as we were talking off screen for a little bit, there's improvements coming. And I feel like I got some traction, and I'm happy where things are going. And I feel like I've broken through like that. Maybe this was last year, but broken through that time of like, is this the right move kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Just doing your own thing where it's like, yeah. So
you were still having a little bit of that last year.
I mean, I feel like you always have a little bit, but I feel like now I'm at a, just like an income level that I'm like, I no regrets not going that route.
Nice.
But just also from like a happiness standpoint and just and everything, I feel good. So
And your beard looks nice, man.
Oh, God. No, I gotta shave. Don't come on.
I've never seen you. I've never seen you with the.
Really? I feel like have I never seen you with a beard?
No, I always have this, but it's a little longer. It's a little longer than normal. So
yeah, same beard. I didn't see it every time.
Right.
Shit.
Okay.
How you doing, D?
Fantastic. It's been a real chill end of the year for me. I've been kind of hibernating in my mind, getting everything together, seeing how everything's been for 2022. And
how do you feel about 2022?
It was a year, man. It was a lot. I grew up a lot this year. I feel like I grew up a lot. I tapped into a lot of things. I got to play with a lot of energy, cocoon myself. And I'm just excited for next year, man. It made me really excited for next year. I will say that. If
you had to pick one word that you got out of 2022, what would it be?
One word that I got out of 2022.
One word.
Click. I feel like it just clicked. Like I'm full throttle on me now. Like clicked. You know what I mean? Like the brain fully closed. Like you are De'Eric now.
Okay.
This character you are, go for it.
You go for that.
Go for it. Whatever that is.
And now would you say it's all you have almost an insane amount of almost obsessive energy behind it where there's nothing that could deter you?
Yeah, because I know no other way now, and I understand that there is or isn't supposed to be another way. It's supposed to be the way that I'm gonna do it. So It's like it's up to me to just go play my character now.
It's crazy because we was talking in the car, Tom, literally about
we had some deep shit going.
Yeah, so we was in the car.
Do you want to get involved?
Yeah, the car was what were we getting into? We was getting into essentially the meaning of life, right?
Classic. Just on a Tuesday.
I'm telling you,
it's such a great thought.
But it gets there.
But that was like the ultimate question. But then it kind of like ventured off into like you can literally just decide to like be the character you want to be.
Hell yeah, this is true. I'm as much of a pessimist as I am, I do believe more or less with the exception of some like maybe I could not be a professional basketball player. You can be whatever you want, everybody.
Like you for real believe that?
I think
he understands.
I think it originates from from the entrepreneurship side of stuff because I remember coming up. There's videos where it's like you're either an entrepreneur or you're not, and I don't buy that shit because I feel like I don't think we've probably talked about this, but there are so many just like businesses that you don't have to be like innovative. You're not going to be like Mark Zuckerberg here, but like, bro, if you want to be your own business and you can wipe down tables and clean shit halfway decent, like you can start a cleaning company and be successful.
Right. Real talk.
And even like, whether you grow it to be 50 fucking, trucks and people going out in this empire, or it's just like you are just that, it's like, that's not that hard. I mean, I don't want to downplay that it is hard, but it's like anyone could do that. I don't believe that. It's a certain type of person.
So how do you help the person who's like, it's easy for you to say you had parents that this and this and that. Well, I didn't have all that, and I had to survive every day. So
no,
I, mean,
I think
I get what you're saying, bro.
Yeah.
But like, I'm literally worried about getting shot.
I think the information's out there. And again, going back to like some businesses, they're so low capital startup. Like a lot of the stuff that I started was like service-based business. It usually has very little overhead to begin with. But there are so many service-based businesses that like require little to no startup at all. So even if you got like a rough start, dude, I don't care if you're working at McDonald's, you save up $1,000, you could buy some detailing spray and go start washing cars for a living.
So why do you think that that's hard for people to grasp?
I don't think it's hard for people to grasp. But I think it's like
how come most people aren't doing it then?
The uncertainty, the difficult, and especially starting out, you got to be pretty in it. You got to be passionate about it, and you got to like actually be making things happen. And I think a lot of people don't do that for that reason. And at some point too, like I'm putting up like cleaning. Like you might not want to be a cleaner, right? You're working at McDonald's,
that's true.
cleaning houses for a living. Maybe
Yeah, that's like yeah.
Doesn't sound that much better, but I mean, it's the the idea of something like that. That's like a really low capital startup, service based,
right? Like especially nowadays with the internet, like you can literally just make money from your phone.
Yeah.
So like if you can afford, you go to Cricket and afford what, $30 a month, probably. You know what I'm saying? You get a $9.99 Cricket account and get you a damn one of those 2010 iPhones that they still sell. But I'm saying, but you can get on the internet, and you can make the moves via the internet.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you can like panhandle for $30-something a month. I'm not even joking. Like, think about this. Even the homeless person should still be at least to come up, because I know I've given 20s and here and there. And if you go in all of the city of Chicago, now I know there's mental aspects, but if you could find a way to save $30 towards a Cricket phone bill, if you could get one, then you can like get your way out of it. But I know there's a lot of mental aspects, but that's what I would think.
And then it's like, well, yeah, where are they trying to strive to though?
And we was talking about that. Where does desire come from?
And yeah, how much a part of you playing in this society to where you would even have the desire to play that game? If like you're in a homeless situation, we ain't even talking about from like a criminal situation, but like you're just so out of touch with the society. Like, bro, I'm not even about to go and do all that job shit and trying to wash my ass.
Is there a part of you that like envies that?
No.
Think about this. There's a part.
I live next to a couple of homeless people. And
hold on.
I don't.
You want to talk about cares none? When a motherfucker is like, I just don't even care. I don't even care about the game y'all playing. I really don't give a fuck.
But it's still part of the game, though. It's still part of it. They get.
But my point is, but I'm going to do it this way, and
Yeah.
Because I cares none. I don't care.
Chicago got some nice ass tents going on, by the way. Some real nice tents. These are
tents game strong.
Tents games are strong, but these are some really classy tents. Excuse me, and I think
they got wood grain.
No, like they're really.
They got wood grain.
It's got upgraded leather on the inside.
This ain't no car, boy.
It's got the new smart tech technology.
I'm telling you, the
like
tents are great.
Y'all know I got a new car.
I did know you got a new car.
Got a little Nissan. Hey, so the inside, like the technology in like the newer cars, I wouldn't. Like I said, my last car was 2008, right? So I had it for a minute, and it had like when I first got it, had a luxury feel, but wasn't really beeping with technology. The new shit, like with the driving safety features.
Oh yeah.
Oh. I didn't realize how much those like signals, the right and left lane, makes you feel safe driving.
Oh, it'll like when somebody's in that
blind spot.
Oh yeah, dude, that's huge.
That's a game changer.
My car has that, and like I don't want to say I don't look anymore, but oh yeah, that is like one of those features that like you might not think is a big deal, but then once you have it, you're like,
yeah,
I don't know if I could go back.
Yeah,
man.
it's so
like,
safe.
I just trust that thing most of the time.
And it lets you know, like if you think, and it'll let you know, like hold on, chill out. And then like the new
pain points,
huge pain point. That's a big one. You don't realize how safe you feel. Then you got the one where you hit that side, when you hit the line, it gives you like the rumbles.
I don't have that, but yeah,
I've like when you're on a long drive to like Florida and you hit the rumble strips, it keeps you alert and shit. You have that every time you hit that.
Yeah.
At first, you might think maybe it's kind of annoying, like damn, or you drive fucked up.
That's a safety thing, yeah.
Like how come I'm always on the?
Yo, that's just
but it improves your driving skills because you don't want to feel that shit all day. So you're like, I'm gonna stay kind of vicious.
Yeah.
And then check this out, nigga. The cruise control, they didn't figure this shit out. They figured this shit.
I know what you're gonna say. Go ahead.
Yeah. So you put the cruise control on, and it can like get the sense of how far it is, what they consider safe from the car in front of you. And let's say you got it set at 80, but the car in front of you slows down. Your car automatically slows down with it. Your shit's still set to 80, but it's going 50 now. But then when that car speeds up, your car automatically speeds up too.
Oh, wow. So this is just like magnetism.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then like,
wow,
even if it's an abrupt stop, I wouldn't say that it's perfect, but I think you'd be safe. It's going to scare you if it was an abrupt, but you'll be safe is what I think. They didn't, and I got like I can only imagine
That's
like
cool.
$100,000 car, or, my car was 20 something grand. I can imagine like a Rolls Royce's safety tech features. You know what I'm saying? They probably the safest cars on the planet if you spend it, right? Would you agree? Or do you think buying a Rolls Royce is purely just because the name? I would imagine it's got the nice features.
I'm sure it's got shit like that.
What car do you think has?
I can't imagine
you're a car guy.
$500,000
What car
and then having
has the
like
best features?
The best. Okay, I don't know, man.
Oh, like what company? Like who do you think of when you think, damn, they probably got all the bells and whistles?
I feel like it oscillates a little bit, but I feel like everyone's like roughly up to the same standards. Like, because you said you have a Nissan now. Yeah, where it's like when we rented a car the other day, or maybe a year ago now, that had a lot of those features. It was like, damn, like a lot of this stuff just comes like standard
now. Yeah.
And so I feel like it's harder and harder to like differentiate between. Yeah, like I mean, the totally automated driving is like one thing, but now I feel like it's like heated and cooled cup holders.
Wait, is it totally automated now? Is some cars 100%?
No, I mean, no, I don't think anything is like 100%. I think Tesla still has like the edge as far as that goes, but like BMW has, stuff like that. Mercedes has stuff like that. Like Audi, I'm sure has stuff like that too. Like I think a lot of people are like, Tesla's the only company. It's like, no, they're not really. I think Tesla has better stuff. They can do
had
more
a Mercedes
but
S-Class for like 8 minutes. And it had the automatic driving feature, and it stayed in the lines and it turned and everything, but you had to make sure your hand touched the steering wheel at some point.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like, but then I've seen like videos on TikTok where dudes eating Chinese food and it's driving. And I think it was a Tesla. Tesla's on fire.
I think Tesla, they can like skew the rules a little bit. Yeah, I feel like all those other brands, it's like, my dad has a Mercedes and his will do the same thing, but after a while it'll like beep you to like just touch the wheel. And I think a Tesla still has something like that, but I think there's some cheats.
Have y'all been inside of one?
I actually have. I mean, I have before once.
You have? Have you?
I have not. No.
I was in one once in Boston the other day. It was a dude picked up our Uber, and you know what it feels like? It feels like a fucking iPhone. Like no joke, you feel like you're getting into an iPhone. And I heard that Apple's coming out with a car. I can only imagine. Y'all heard about the Apple car? It's a real thing. I swear to God, they're talking about an Apple car.
$1 trillion company. Why not?
Why not?
Mobile.
Like, and I can see Tesla coming out with
it's gonna be technology crazy too.
Could you imagine the Apple car? And then if you're an Apple fiend, like all y'all is, y'all just all gonna have it.
Yep.
So it would be actually, if they could do it and do it right, which is Apple, they're gonna do it right. They're gonna take all y'all money.
Well, they're gonna get an Apple bike. Let them get an Apple bike.
No, what if they no, everyone gets, we figured it out and they can do it cheap because y'all been fucking with us. What if they made it so like you had to get
that's kind of the goal, isn't it? Trying to make everybody live into your.
Would you want to live in a world where no humans were controlling the cars?
Ideally, like the Jetsons.
So you want that world?
Yeah, the human control has a capacity to it that's flawed. So we creating systems to where it can be more safe. Yeah, of course.
What about you, Tom? Could you live in a society where no human beings were in control of the cars?
Yeah, I think as a car enthusiast, I think that'll be a sad day when, and I hope that there'll still be some retaining of like being able to drive yourself, but
maybe go somewhere to do it or something.
Yeah. Or like a lane that's for like real drivers, I guess. But no, I don't have an objection with that. I think some people, oh my God.
Well, because here's the question you have to ask. So the whole idea of the automatic technology is to save lives. But there's going to be some situations where your life is going to be the one that could be, we need to save these 30 lives to live this life. So now you're not truly in control of your life anymore, because the idea of the algorithm of that is going to be to save lives. And it's going to have to make a decision between 1 or 30. and you have no control in the situation. If there was an accident, the goal would be to never be in that situation.
Right.
But life.
And that's probably gonna have to go with it.
So y'all cool with it, knowing that?
Yeah, absolutely. Because that's how we run shit now. I mean, we got guns that are legal for people to carry, and you can't just shoot somebody just because, but people do. So it's kind of like the same thing with an evolved technology. Like you're allowing people to control, like you're allowing people to protect themselves with this machine or whatever have you. But it could go wrong.
Right.
And who's at fault? It was a self-defense. You know what I mean? So
figure it out.
just another technology that we got to figure out. That's why we govern ourselves.
Tom, we was talking about this in the car, bro.
Like, speaking of that, by the way, I got my FOI card.
Oh,
yesterday.
shit. All right.
Watch out, white people. Watch out.
Dang. Okay. Whoa.
He's an educated black man with a gun.
It's a gun-free zone.
Watch out.
It's my right. But no, go ahead.
I'm going straight to your house when shit pop off. What the fuck are you talking about?
We talking about life.
Yeah, you were saying something.
No.
We're in the car. We're talking about life.
Oh, in the car. No, not about life. Well, kind of about life.
You ain't about that life.
Like, so as human beings, for the most part, and we've separated by countries a lot of times, but we've come together and say we elect these people to help keep it not wild, right? And then there's some people who choose to not live within that. They choose to live in the wild, right? Because they still got to play the game, because if you get caught by the other side, you have to go to, you have to pay the consequence. But you could choose to not play by the rules that the rest of us are playing. And we were saying, as far as animals are concerned, that's always their life. When you see an animal, it could eat you. And that's just such a, like,
we're getting deep.
We was getting really deep.
So just think of it.
No, but think about that.
No, but just think of it this way. Like we were just talking about, like, being a human, like an animal on this earth. We're the apex predator here. Like, there's no animal trying to fucking kill us, like, at all times. You know what I mean? Like, lion attacks a gazelle. A gazelle knows a lion is trying to eat me. We don't live in that mindset.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of, excuse me. It's kind of crazy that we've gotten to a point where we don't have any competition, so we compete with each other. We create these systems to keep everybody out of the fucking wild, or in a wild state of mind. But there are some people who are like, no, I don't want to live in that shit.
And it's technically still the wild.
It's like, this is still the wild, if you think about it. You know what I mean?
We just decided as people to create systems to help us, but it's still, you could go crazy right now on us, technically.
You think I beat you up? Would you be worried?
No, I would not.
I do not believe you.
No, but just,
I'm like, Tom, why are you attacking me? Okay, Tom.
Stop.
Please.
Are we done here? You're like, are we done? Are we done?
It's just like, you don't have to live in this shit if you don't want to. But we're like, we make you do it though, because it's still within our, like, okay, we understand that this is the wild and you could be an untamed motherfucker. So you do have to play by these rules, or if you're gonna go to jail, or you got to kill yourself, or something gonna have to happen. Like, you can't just kill a motherfucker and get away with it, you know?
Right.
So it's interesting because it's still like the wild though, you know?
Shout out to OJ.
It's a governed, what'd you say?
Shouts out to OJ.
Yeah, you can't placebo. What
about placebo?
Drug people either.
What are we talking about?
I don't know.
We started drugging people. It's getting wild. I know we're in the wild, but
I said OJ. You said you can't murder people and get away with it. I said, shouts out to OJ. As a joke.
And then I went.
Did OJ do it?
Honestly, I don't. I didn't follow enough of the story.
Glove
but I think it's pretty
acquitted.
Right. Like, and I don't know. I think is this more like sensitive thing in the black community? But like,
not at all.
OJ didn't do it.
Well, like, I don't know. I thought it was like
like 1,000 years ago.
No, it wasn't.
It was like the 90s, I think. But
that was legit like 30 years ago, guys. A long time ago.
Well, what was the first thing you said? 1,000? I mean,
okay.
He's still alive.
Exaggeration. I was having fun.
Okay, but
it's a comedy podcast.
It is. I don't. Okay, well, yeah, I thought.
No, for real, it was definitely, in the grand scheme of things, it was last weekend. See that?
That's better.
See, it's still exaggeration. It wasn't last weekend, but y'all knew what I meant.
1,000 years is over exaggerated, though.
Do you think 1,000 years from when it was versus last weekend from when it was is any
over exaggerated?
No,
yes,
it's the same thing.
It's last weekend versus 30 years versus 1,000 years. You know what's going on 1,000 years ago?
All right, we got to bring it back to. We're getting too off here. And you know what I want to talk about, Christopher, is your success lately, because I feel like I've seen you pop off as of late, man. And I want you to talk about that. And is it the exposure therapy that has been
So
doing that?
I'll
Or
tell
like,
you
I want to hear
exactly.
about the come up. I want to hear what you're going through right now, right?
Okay, this is crazy because
Colton said he's following you and he's like, dude, I see his shit. He's
he
just
sees it, right?
popular.
It's
Yeah.
it's
And I was like,
crazy.
I'm not on TikTok, so I take his word for it. But
It's crazy because I remember me and De'Eric were sitting down at the house one day, and then understanding like the direction that I wanted to take it, not knowing that it was going to be social anxiety, or maybe we came up with that word social anxiety, and I didn't. And once I thought about that, I'm like, that's what it is. I didn't realize that what my whole brand was about was my own my own social anxiety. And I was like, what is it that I feel like that I've been doing? And then I'll get back to the story, but I was talking with Steve and I realized I had been doing these kind of things for years, not knowing that I was doing it. Like one day I wore a MAGA hat just to see the reaction I would get in New York. Which was interesting because half New York is Trump, half New York is, not Trump. So wearing that was I put myself in like an uncomfortable situation, not even realizing I was just doing me, just being silly, but I wasn't looking at it as exposure therapy. But that's what the fuck it was.
Right.
I've also worn that hunter wig out in the public just to be different. And, some people will call that peacocking. But to me, it was like, no, I'm just trying to be comfortable being uncomfortable, right? So anyway, I started realizing with De'Eric, like, oh shit, social anxiety is the thing that what Cares None's all about at the core of what it is. Not giving a fuck about someone else's opinion. A lot of it has to do with social anxiety. A lot of that, so I started studying more. I'm like, all right, well, damn, if that's what it is, let me learn more about it, what to do about it. How bad do I have it? And all these different questions. I wanted to be the leader in understanding it, but y'all gonna watch me learn through it as I'm learning about it. And then I came across this exposure therapy. And I'm like, oh, I have been kind of doing this, but didn't realize that that's how you get comfortable. And what happened was I told myself, I'm going to speak in front of large groups, but if someone was to tell me, can you go do it tomorrow? I'm like, man, I don't know if was I there? Like, I don't know if I was there. If they'd be like, all right, you got to be on ABC tomorrow. I just know the feeling I would have felt, and that would have gave me anxiety, So I'm like, well, I got eventually that's gonna happen. So I want to be ready for when it comes. So then that's when the exposure, and I came across this exposure therapy shit. I said, oh, what if I just showcase me living the moment as I'm doing it and then getting through it, and then documenting that process. So it's not like I have to come up with an idea because I'm just doing I do to a degree, but I can do anything that can make myself uncomfortable without hurt. I don't want to put no one else in. It's only with me, And then by doing that and documenting that process, literally by just living my story, and documenting it, it blew up. It blew up vicious, and it's not done. Every day is 99 plus are going in. It's just blowing. I'm at 67K now. Remember, and the big part of it is posting consistently.
Yeah.
Because it's not all the same, but then the more you post, then you find that one. You're like, oh shit, I did the exposure therapy, not even thinking it might be the series, and then it popped. Remember, I was like, D, I think I'm on to something because it popped. We talked about it.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm about to make this video on exposure therapy, and I'm like, it has to work because of that. And then it worked, and I called him like, De'Eric, it worked. And then I was like, I'm gonna do it again. And then it blew up even more.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just stumbled upon something. And then I just started going deeper into trying to understand it. And then I'm like, well, the best way to understand it is to fucking go through it and to get over your shit.
Right. All of your fears.
And then you can document the process, and that will help other people because other people want to, what the person tell me today? My videos help him feel like he's not alone.
Right.
That's a big thing that, and so I'm like, I got to take that shit serious. And that's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
And I think the reason why I think it's going to blow up, why I know, to be honest, because I really believe of all people I've ever met, I feel like I genuinely want to help the most people, or probably the most, but I genuinely want them to do well.
Right.
Because I was this way for free for like the last 20 years. So my thought process is now is, okay, I'm getting older and I would like to do this, but I'm gonna need to turn it into a thing where I can survive off of it, so then I can give it more of my attention.
Right.
Instead of trying to make money a different rate, a different route, doing DoorDash. I'd rather be working hard on some content or a person or this course I'm doing.
Right.
Having that genuine desire, I think, is people can sense that shit through the screen. So that's kind of where it came from.
Would you call yourself a savant of exposure therapy?
Not based on the. Hey, can I say that's fucked up? Let me ask you. Are you a savant at anything?
I feel like you're gonna have to define that for everybody, but I know enough to say no.
Okay, who do you think is a savant in history?
I don't know.
Okay, so to me, I always thought like Beethoven or something was a savant, like a kid or a young person who just knew whatever industry they were in, they were just crushing it. It was like they weren't even being like, it was just out of body. They just understood how to be Beethoven. And they just did shit and music beautiful came out with your art pretty much. Would you agree with that statement or no?
Yeah, I think that's
like someone who just knows they shit better than everyone else at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
I had no idea that if you look at the definition of it, there's a lot of times there's another part of their psyche is missing, but some of the other things have been expanded. So like sometimes like one of the stories I saw, this kid, he was on the spectrum of autism. He was a grown ass man probably, and he like couldn't talk at all, and like couldn't do basic functions that we do every day, but he had an extremely vicious photographic memory to the point where he got on a helicopter, went over the city of New York, which is ridiculous, came back and drew it all by memory.
I saw it, yeah.
In pure detail. That is a savant. But I didn't realize being a savant also means that you, more often than not, there's another part of you that we would consider normal folks is lacking. But no, you know what I'm saying? Like if you
God doesn't give with both hands.
So I just thought that was super interesting. I didn't realize what a savant. I had no idea that you had to be missing something to be. I thought you just had to be just dope at it. That's what I know about being.
So are we all missing something then? Because when we all, back to what I was saying, like, are you a savant? Do you feel that is that because you found something that galvanizes a lot of people?
Maybe.
You know what I mean? So
that's gonna take some soul searching. I mean, if the definition of to be great at one thing but then kind of lacking in another, I think I have all of my motor features. You know what I'm saying? I think I can speak well, but there's certain things that I'm not great at. So, you know, I have like procrastination up the wazoo. We've talked about that. I've read books on it. I understand it from a deep level. I definitely getting better because I'm implementing, but that's to me a very serious problem to have, especially if you're trying to create something that's great. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
Like procrastination will kill you. So definitely working on that. Another problem I've been having lately, D, is doing something great or what I deem to be great or exceptional, and then once I hit that mark, and then to feel like, okay, you did something good, you can chill out for a second. And I feel like I go through that.
You don't want to chill?
No, because then what in my personal, I guess I have to define which a better version of chill, but chill don't mean just to stop doing what you're doing. Don't stop making I heard something the other day, Tom, tell me if this makes sense to you. This guy was like, if you don't want to, in anything in life, you're going to have 1,000 decisions a day, 1,000. In order to do something great, you're going to have to hit as close to that 1,000 of the right move that we all know was right and wrong. You know, like you got a Twinkie, or the banana. That's one of those decisions you got to make a day. Should I go left or should I go right? Should I stop at Starbucks, get this coffee, or be late to work? You're going to have these decisions, about 1,000 of them all day. Get as close to the 1,000 as you can, making the right decisions, and you do that for an extended period of time. Whatever you choose to do, you're going to be great at it. The problem is it's hard to wait to get close to that 1,000 for a long period of time.
Yeah.
That's like the hardest part. So I'm like, damn, okay, so I need to hit that 1,000, and I think it takes some desire. It takes being around the right people, your environment, what you're eating, what you're reading, what you're consuming. Because as soon as I've been hitting these close to 1,000. I'm hitting 900, which is you're doing awesome, and you do that shit for 6 months. Okay, and then you see the return, and then you did something great, boom, and all of a sudden now you're hitting 500,
right?
550 today. Oh damn, you almost hit 2.
Oh damn.
Oh shit.
You got to 300. That ain't the Chris that we've been. You gonna let it get down to 300, bro? We was cool at the 7 you know, out of 1,000 decisions, you know what I'm saying? We was cool at the 7 mark, 8. Okay, we can get you out of that, but don't let it get too far down because you know how the climb, the momentum is a motherfucker. So
is that momentum necessary? Do you need that kind of that rest?
I think momentum is one of the best things on earth.
So do you need that rest though, so that you can rebuild some momentum again?
It depends on what you mean by rest. Like if you need to,
well, I guess it depends on what you.
So for me personally, it has nothing to do with like I'm physically tired.
Okay.
You know, just a matter of, to me, I think it was being lax on my own decision-making skills because I know I just accomplished something that I believed was great. So that don't mean, okay, and then you want to take your break, fine. But there comes a time where we got to get you back close to that 1,000. Right. But it would be easy. It would be a lot easier to just stay closer to the 1,000 than to hit 1,000 and then start from 2 and then work your way back up.
Right.
You might as well just put that little effort in once you get there, and then you just at least keep it there. And I feel like, thank God, I'm the kind of person who can notice it before it spirals too out of control, and then unfortunately got to rev it back up. But to me, that's a win, because I know a lot of people, once they give the fuck up, then it's over. I tried it. It didn't work. I'm done with whatever it is they decide to do. It's like, no, you got to stay at it.
Right.
Because everyone has those fucking downs, man. And in anything, where it comes from, whatever your problem is, we all deal with our own shit. I don't know, whatever it is you got time, like, man, it's that one thing I know. Like, let's say I'm looking at car videos and I know I shouldn't be in it. You know, I'm serious. And what if it was something?
That's usually what it is.
Right.
You know, and it's something that you personally be like, damn, if I just cut down the car videos by 50%, I would, and you don't do it. It's like, damn, and you got to be strong on those. You got to correctly answer those for you personally more often than you lose those.
I wonder what is it about us that makes us want to have that be the battle between ourselves, to do or not to do something, when you kind of want to do.
Deep down, you want to just do nothing.
I know, right? It's kind of crazy.
Now, let's be honest, Tom. Would you want to
be a meat blob?
Yeah, would you want to be a meat blob on a beach somewhere?
No, I don't. Like, I'm not the biggest go-getter of all time. You know, like I hit snooze a couple of times. You know, I'm a late night, late morning kind of guy.
Me too.
And I used to. And I feel like going back to the first stuff I was saying, where it's like, you know, I feel like good this past year. I feel like I used to, you know, especially when you do run your own business, and it's sad, but also, you know, warming, because I see Colton going through it, because, you know, he works with me, but he owns his own business too. And I see him going through a lot of the struggles that I used to go through. And especially when it comes to just like being productive, when you have a job, it's like, all right, I did my work. When I'm home, that's like,
away from that
psychology
time.
of like, all right, I did the work, so I'm here. And like, that makes sense. But when you're running your own shit, it doesn't work like that. You know, like, you theoretically can be on the clock as much as you want, or as off the clock as much as you want. And so having that self-discipline to like stay on stuff is important. But I feel like it's so tough to strike that balance as an entrepreneur, because you're always like, I know I could be doing more shit. Like, I know I could be, you know, even answering comments or working on something else. Like, there's never really nothing to do. And so like being okay with not doing things, with the sacrifice of like, listen, I didn't do this, and I know this is maybe a bad decision in that sense, and it's prolonging the success that I would maybe want.
Right.
And you know, if I really, really buckled down, maybe I could achieve what I wanted to do in 3 years and not 5 or something like that. But for me, I feel like I've been trying to kind of rewire my brain a little bit, where it's just like, enjoy the ride a little bit more, because I feel like you could be super productive. You could have a great day. You could do all this sort of shit. You could make all the right decisions, but then, you know, still at the end of the day, be like, oh man, but here I am watching an episode of TV, and you beat yourself up over that, opposed to like just sitting back, enjoying a glass of whiskey and being like, I accomplished plenty today. This day was good, you know?
I think I feel most productive when you set your time aside to make sure you do that. But as a person who's always been, I'm just going to kick it, and I'm just going to enjoy the ride. I've been enjoying the ride for 30 something years. I do think you can get in a situation where, okay, you've enjoyed it to a certain degree. Now it is time to buckle down.
Yeah.
If depending on where you are in your life and where you were, like if you've been on your shit for a hot minute, okay, buckle down. But if you've been not on your shit, but you don't want to be 65 with nothing, then you're gonna have to hit your head to the grindstone, depending on where you are.
Yeah.
And as a person who kind of fucked over, I fucked over things. I'm glad I did it because it made the story. So I'm actually happy the way everything worked out. But I never gave myself a skill that was like gonna give me a skill that you can go into the marketplace and earn a living.
Yeah.
You know, and so I always just, but there's parts of me that wish sometimes I did, it would have made it easier now, but then I wouldn't be where I am today. So I don't know how you feel about that. But.
No, I hear you. I mean, same shit. I've always felt like I'm still trying to figure out my actual, I kind of feel like that's what I meant about this year. I kind of feel like I come into my own with my skill. Like my skill is my ability to just really see people as be obsessed with people. That's what I wanted to say. I really just feel like I want to become like the full being that I'm supposed to be, and I feel like that when the way that I understand people is kind of from an anthropological perspective a lot of times. So I really see the animal in us, and I see the systems that we live in and the way that we are supposed to kind of like gravitate towards each other and help each other, and how like actual shit gets made, from a communication standpoint. So I think it's my calling right now, and I start to realize this, to just become a beautiful example of what a person can be. And that's why I like really got into modeling like crazy, and it's really under just allowing my body to be the example of the stories that you want to create with people.
So a vessel, I
want to be a vessel. Honestly, I want to be a vessel for humanity, because the way I understand them, I try to understand people in a certain way, I should say, that like it's really connected. And I know that there's a lot of lost souls and whatnot, but I feel like I want to be the example for like in an energetic type of way. Like as an example, you can see me physically, but you can feel me energetically. So that's why I want to offer my like body. And like I'm going to get into like some actual commercial modeling too and whatnot, but I also do like the art modeling, like to see yourself in different lights and whatnot, and to tell stories in different ways. Like I feel like that's my calling, and I want to, and that really means a lot to me, because especially with the art modeling, because actually all modeling, when you put yourself out there, because these pieces are going to last for thousands of years, hopefully. And, you want to like the stuff that you're doing when you put yourself out there digitally too, and you help people, like the documentation that you're setting, these are artifacts. So it goes beyond what you're doing right now. You're like really being a vessel for somebody thousands of years from now. You know what I mean? Like the shit we look up on Wikipedia from people from thousands of years ago, like they're part of that vessel. So I just figured out that like my body, I love the fact that I'm a human and I can let go of myself and be an artifact for the world, to be a vessel and shit. So that's why I want to put my likeness in everything, and that I can, and then express that in different ways. Like I said, we're going to do the second.
What's the pain point you're solving for people?
The pain point I'm solving for people, I think people need examples of what a human looks like, or what a human can be. You know what I mean? That's why I say I want to blossom and be the full D'Eric, because I need people to understand that you can be. I want you to see a person that's fully allowing himself to be here, be present, and be thinking about himself for the future and shit too. So
it seems like if we're correct me if I'm wrong, but if we peel back the layers from first principles, what you're doing is solving people's pain point of like maybe confidence
and existence. Like you exist in this world, so you got to blossom and peacock within it. Yeah,
because some people don't have confidence that they exist in this world. Some people don't have confidence that they belong in this world.
Right,
so
exactly.
So essentially, at the core, you're just choosing your way of doing it, but you're helping people become more confident.
Yeah, I'm helping people. I feel like I help people become more confident by looking like a confident person, and feeling that, and embracing that, and being like, I'm a person. I'm supposed to be as me as possible. So when your person comes down and looks at me and they say, you look like you look very distinguished and whatnot, that you look like your look, or whatever that is. I want to like feel that and embrace that even more, like become a vessel of that. And that encourages people, like that's an individual. I want everybody to understand that they are an individual and they do have a place as a character in this world. So that's why I want to spread my likeness and understand and help people understand that in that way. That's why, I mean, the modeling thing really opened my mind up to that with my special way of understanding the world and my place in it. Because like you said, like you mentioned, I don't have a skill that I, could put into the market
from
or
the
something.
market, right.
You know what I mean? That wasn't my desire in life, really. That's why I went into like anthropology studies and studying people's cultures and stuff like that. I rather learn what it is to be a human in so many different ways. And then I figured out when I got into my 30s, like, damn, instead of looking at the world, I can look at myself and be the fucking greatest, whatever that is.
For you,
and let me put that out. And so I've kind of, that's what my part of it is.
So yeah, to me, it sounds like you're helping people become confident. Let me ask you this. All businesses, do you think that is the goal, is to help people feel more confident to some degree? Because all businesses essentially solve a pain point, which now you're confident in whatever that pain point is that you won't have it.
Okay.
So if I selling you apples, well, I'm helping you be more confident because now you know that you have an apple. That's confidence. So like, is that a crazy thought?
That's a little crazy. I've never phrased.
Does it make sense?
That, right. Or you have the confidence, like you just can communicate. Maybe you didn't have a phone before, and now you can communicate with somebody. So.
Or even confidence, like for instance, you come to Tom, and then the server is, now you feel confident in the product that you're putting out.
Right.
It's confidence.
That's fair.
You go to what I'm talking about with CARESNONE brand and what I teach. And now you feel more confident in your ability. So it's all about how people feel more confident. That's interesting.
If you go on Pretty Cool Poses, prettycoolposes.com, I sell actual figurines. I have 101 figurines that I sell, and people in different forms and different body poses, just celebrating anatomy. Now, these aren't people that look sculpted and all that stuff like that. It's like different body sizes. So I just want to expose to the world, like, this is what people look like.
Are you able to move those?
You aren't able to move those because those are figurines, but they come in different materials and whatnot, sandstone, metallic gold, some of them. So it just depends on which price range. But that would be something like a Stretch Armstrong thing. That would be cool. But it's just me really trying to help people to understand, like, that's what art modeling did for me. Like, because it's not based on the beauty standard. You got to be 5'10", this and that. It's just like, this is what a human looks like. And when I sit on that stage and I listen to artists all around me just talk about the human anatomy in a way, it just helps me to appreciate, like, man, people like
we're all way too in our heads about shit, right?
We are, and we're not busy enough being just a human. And I really get to, like, it made so much sense for me as an anthropologist to become a model. And that's why I feel like my calling is really like blossoming from my mindset, because it really just allows me to be the fucking human that I am, flaws and all. Like, you're a human, experience this shit. And mind you, I'm naked most of the day. I'm butt ass all day for my, profession. So like, just imagine that psychologically, how that makes me feel, like a wild, just free person.
For sure. Right.
And every time I show up, I don't give a fuck what I have on. That's the best thing of all time, because it's me. Imagine living in that so much. So it's like, I really want to embrace that and just like become a savant at that shit. I feel like maybe that's my natural tweak. Like, I can be the person that can be the person.
Savant would imply that you're missing something else.
We all are missing something else. I think that's fine. I'm not afraid.
A bodily function.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, whatever.
What bodily function you missing?
Hey, it ain't that one. It ain't that one, young buck. No, but I think we're all missing some things, but that's why we are a part of a group, and we have to learn how to help or allow people to help us and whatnot too. So it's all part of it. I don't mind being a savant.
That's interesting. You say
I think we're all trying to be a savant at something, though. I feel like we're all trying to tap into something that we know is special. Well, hopefully, you know what I mean? Maybe people don't feel confident about it.
Tom, will you do me a favor? Could you please Google the definition of savant?
Yeah, I think we're all, what is that thing we're all trying to like reach for? Like we talked about in the car, like you feel like it's something else that you can, we're all trying to get something.
Okay, so it's a very learned or talented person, especially one distinguished in a particular field or science or the arts. Despite having significant impairments in other areas of intellectual or social functioning.
Right.
So significant.
That's what I'm saying. So
despite having, I guess I didn't.
Despite having significant.
I thought that you would kind of put that little spin in there as yourself, but that looks to be part of the definition.
That's what because I thought savant meant the first part of that,
right,
and not that in spite of.
Okay, so what's another word?
I've met people. No, but I've met people who were like that. I went to school with this dude. I forgot his name, but he was impaired, right? But then he could like tell you any year
Yeah.
of like what team won in baseball, and he could tell you who started and who, or I forgot but he could tell you some crazy information that there's no way anyone else is going to remember that. But then he was missing other parts. So to me, technically, he was a savant.
Right.
It says intellectual or social, by just way, because I feel like you might have said something about physical, like just because you got
maybe
a bum leg or something like that.
So maybe not physical, but it was definitely impaired with something.
Social, yeah, which is it's like basically, I don't want to say you're on the spectrum, but I think this is kind of more or less you're gifted in other things.
Or you'll meet
like,
someone who's like crazy intelligent, but then like he's socially off, and but he can like figure out
everybody that's
astrophysicist.
Right.
There's a rocket scientist in the world that's.
But it's interesting you say that though, D, because that's what I'm doing with these exposure therapy videos. So for those who don't know, exposure therapy is you're pretty much getting yourself comfortable with being uncomfortable. The idea is to if you face the things that bother you socially, by slowly subjecting yourself to that, you will start to learn that the things that you were worried about in the beginning are in fact not true. And not only are they not true, you're making it even worse than it has to be. So, and then every time I subject myself to another version of this, another version of a situation where I would normally be uncomfortable, and you just face that, but then you have to make a mental picture to yourself or a mental list. Like, what are you afraid is going to happen when you go in this room full of people? What are you afraid is going to happen when you put your phone in the air and there's people behind you? What are you worried about? And if you're being honest about that, you're like, well, you don't want to look stupid. You don't want people to think that you're crazy. There's these thoughts, right? And then you do it. And then you feel the thing. And then what I'm learning is once I've committed to doing the act of whatever it is I was worried, like once I've got to the doorstep of the fear, and then once I was in it, the fear was 100% eliminated.
Right.
Now I'm just like, oh, I'm already in the situation. And then I leave, and then I look, and then nothing happened.
Life cake went on.
Yeah, nothing happened. I didn't get in trouble. No one called my grandmother. I'm not stabbed to death. You know what I'm saying? But these are weird thoughts people have. These are real things, right? And then I'm noticing, and I'm like, yeah. Even and mind you, I'm doing extreme versions of it. I'm wearing weird wigs in public, or maybe it's extreme to me. To some people, it's not extreme.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, but the more I've done it, the more I do feel myself in public places, especially when I'm not doing nothing outrageous. If I'm just being Chris Campbell, I feel more confident than in the situation because, I had mustard on my shirt or I had mayonnaise on my face and I got through that. It was when no one's paying attention to you.
Yeah.
And then the more I'm showcasing it, people, and I'm seeing you say you've been noticing, the stuff I post on IG is literally 0.06% of like the comments. It's bananas. And I've been going live on TikTok, and the people in the comments, and you can tell it's genuine. Like one dude yesterday was like, man, your videos helped me and my fiance. Like, thank you, legitimately. Another person was like, man, like, I can't believe we get this dude's energy for free. Literally said that. Another girl said, wow, you know what's crazy? I'm paying my therapist $200 a month, and this guy's videos hit harder than my therapist. And all I'm doing is reading the books that I need help to fix my character. I want to fix my character, and I'm trying to mold it to the character that I want it to be, and you can decide whatever it is you want. This is the character I'm molding, so I'm putting myself in situations to become that character.
Yeah.
The cool thing for me is I have a brand, right? So it was easy to become that version of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is your 1,000 decisions, and get close to that. And maybe it is unobtainable, but I'm trying to aim for that. Showcase it, throw a couple spins on it, do it with integrity, like you actually give a fuck, and that's how, and let it go, and just be like genuine. And now, especially with the Gen Z cats, I'm starting to learn that they want people.
Yeah, they want that.
Motherfuckers don't want the cookie cutter brands.
They're getting away from it. That's cool.
And big brands are finally, and they still ain't. I feel like if you get on social media now, you're still ahead of the game. Mm-hmm. So I feel like all businesses, you need, especially with the new version of the TikTok Reels and that whole it's like a new technology. There's a reason why everyone's doing it.
Yeah.
I was on the NBA.com app. It looks like a social media feed. So that's the thing. As a matter of fact, I might have told you.
We hit me on Tesla's website, I think.
So they do it too. If you go on Tesla's website, you're swiping like it's a social media feed. Like they actually their website is fire, and you would think so. It's Tesla, right? So there's a thing you can put on your Shopify store that turns, and there's probably a couple of them. I've only saw the one that can turn your website into like a scrollable.
Did you try it?
I have not tried it yet because you get 14 free days, and I wanted to make sure with the car. I wanted to make sure I was good before I go hard.
I might have tried that on my
Shopify but I think it's just to get ahead of the game. If that's and listen, if all the other companies are doing this, like Tesla,
that's gonna be a standard.
You know, like the company like that is it's number one most powerful car in America, if I'm not mistaken. You know, they're putting billions of like how to make the site perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at when I was car shopping, and I came across Genesis. I think it's Hyundai's like.
Oh yeah,
they're nice as fuck. Speaking of branding,
my brother had a just real quick sidebar. Genesis, was a spinoff from Hyundai, but they came out with the Genesis Coupe, which was right up there with like a Mustang and a Camaro price point and stuff like that. They didn't even sell that well, but my brother and he got this car, dude, and we just loved it. We thought it was the coolest car. Everywhere you go,
awesome.
It was like, and it was one of those things too, where it's like one of those new cars where people, he had different badges because it was technically, it was a Hyundai, but it was like a Genesis. You know, like it was this new thing, and so he had new badges on it, and people would come up to him like, "What year is that? Yeah, how much was that car?" And like, we just loved it anyway. So Genesis,
they're nice, but they've done it. First of all, I feel like they've done a good job with their branding over the years. I used to look at Hyundai as like my grandmother doing them for forever.
Yeah,
and I used to look at them kind of like, oh, they're just a Hyundai.
Oh no, Hyundai, fuck,
right? Bro. But then I felt, and same thing with Kia.
Yeah, I feel like they're the same.
They're the same, right?
Yeah, Kia.
I feel like they've been working on their branding over the years, and I feel like they're getting way more respect than they ever. And if you've gotten inside of one,
they look good.
And the designs are a lot better, and the insides are fucking nice.
Yeah.
My mom's Sonata, she got like a 21 Sonata, and I'm clean. I was like, okay, Hyundai. So I can only imagine what the $100,000 car, or like a $1 million Bugatti. I can only imagine the ridiculousness in that. But we talking about the cars. What did you say?
The Genesis was crazy, and you're just saying Hyundai. I mean Hyundai, yeah.
Oh, about the branding. So you get off on the web, you go on their website, and you can see how it's the new version of the TikTok effect, or whatever you want to call it. There's actually a name for that specific scroll style. But even like their pricing, you can just tell they're making everything so simplistic and futuristic, and there's not like a bunch of shit, not a bunch of words.
Yeah, like it used to be, kind of filled up space and whatnot. And
unless you're thinking like if you're on the DraftKings website, which is a sports gambling site, it still feels like social media, but there's more words because you need to know numbers and stuff like that. But if you don't need to know words and numbers, it's like you want fewer numbers.
Yeah. Fewer things.
Or fewer
Simplicity is the new thing.
But the TikTok, I'm telling y'all, look into that for your websites. It's this scrollable thing. There's got to be a reason why all the big dogs are doing it, and you can get into the game for like relatively nothing. So I'm like, okay. And then when I went to Tesla, and I was like, oh, okay, because I would imagine they probably got some of the smartest people on the planet on their site, right? Or do you think they have people that they work for or work for them? Or do they go to somewhere else to do it?
Well, no.
Outsourcing.
I'm gonna guess that they probably have
outsourcing.
They're probably a combination of the two, right? Big companies probably have a little bit of both. I think
we have our team. Get this team. See if y'all can work something out.
Yeah, like I'm sure there are full-time software developers that deal with the website side of Tesla.
Yeah.
And then obviously tons that work on the
car, they outsource
stuff. Or they could be like the contractors of them, maybe.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure.
But probably a combination.
Man, you want to talk about something crazy? I didn't realize how many businesses, like how would you say Amazon makes its money?
Contractors.
That's what I would have thought.
Their web services.
Yeah, the web services.
Web services.
Right? And I don't, you think most people know that? I bet you most people, they think.
The people. No, I would say maybe most people, because you wouldn't assume, right? You assume Amazon, they sell a bunch of stuff, but
so I bet you they don't make a ton unless you sell the Amazon products, the basics, which you probably make a ton.
Bro, anyone that knows anything, when you order something and they have that bitch delivered the same day, people are, how are they making money? They're not. They lose money on that sort of shit. Like there's no way. But
that's just to get you in the door for all the other things.
Yeah.
I think they make a fuck ton of money on Prime. right? If it's 130.
I don't know, man. Because again, but the
What's
free
the web
delivery,
services part?
and shit. The second you pay for shipping on anything, it's like,
Yeah, but they own the trucks
I'll
now.
look this up, dude. I don't think so. I think the
Look it up.
shipping side of stuff is like a loss leader for them. But
The logistics, is that what they call it?
I was going to say that Amazon, I think they make, okay. How many members does Amazon Prime have?
oh, probably a shit ton. But that doesn't mean that they're like. I mean,
Yeah, what's that money
it makes
maker?
revenue, but again, free shipping, dude. You ship anything, not with Amazon, and it's $30-$40 basically going anywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Even $120 for the year. Do you know how much shit I order off Amazon for the year? Like,
no, I'm saying, do you think the reason they can do that price is because of how much business they create? So they're obviously still getting it as cheap as.
I think that the Prime is just to like help offset it, because the
So
free
you still
shipping
make
and the
most of your
expedited.
money on the people selling the products to them to.
Yeah, well, yeah, because they just
pretty much
cut up
hold
pretty
your
much selling
store.
everything, and then obviously they sell a shit ton of like Amazon Basics and stuff like that. So I think they
Essentially
probably
a
make more money on
Shopify to
products
some
than
degree.
the
Like what?
other stuff.
Essentially Shopify. It's like a place where you can store your business.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow. But the problem is you don't own the data of the people that buy
The
from
IP
you.
and whatnot.
Yeah. But if you do your own, especially WordPress, you own the data. But I don't even think you own it on Shopify. I think you have access to it, but I don't think you own it. I think they can shut you down.
Just shut it down.
They shut you down.
Well, that's the thing about technology is it's like got to run through some company. Unless you get your own IP with shit, but I mean, you have to run your Shopify through Shopify regardless,
Right.
or through WordPress. So they got the control over it.
What about the apps on that bitch? There's so many apps that but they can actually slow your site down too. So you can't just put everything on your site.
Not yet, at least.
Yeah,
And they'll make that more simplified too, because that's a whole issue. Like it should never be an issue. But
I think that's just a bandwidth issue, though, right?
Right.
That's just a matter of how much. Oh, speaking of bandwidth, hey, y'all gonna sign up for the Neuralink? What generation are you signing up, Tom?
I haven't done enough.
If
research
Elon's
on
like,
that
hey,
sort
we
of stuff.
figured it out, Tesla, the Tesla
Nah,
Neuralink,
that's too, dude.
would you sign up?
No, not now. Definitely not. I
So
mean, I
Gen 2?
think over time it'll make sense, but I think Facebook can't sell like a VR headset because people are like, oh, the technology. Like nobody's gonna be putting chips in there, or not the vast majority of people until that shit's definitely done.
Killing it right now. Like as far as the technology, not as far as the people buying it.
Okay, it's killing motherfuckers.
Well, because Zuckerberg, it's actually interesting because he was on Joe Rogan like I don't know, a month ago, and I listened to him. And it's crazy. I think it's hard to fake 3-hour conversation. And I've watched a few of these with him. You've seen a few with him too, right?
Yeah, a couple. I've seen him.
I don't see Zuckerberg as this like evil dude. He's almost like a savant, if anything. You know what I'm saying? Because when I've noticed he talks about is just how can he connect more people to tell their story, pretty much. Like that's like his main focus. Mm-hmm. And he thinks that he's like, albeit like social media is cool, he goes, but then you're limited to the 2D.
Yeah.
So his whole thing is trying to create. He wants to be the place where you can go to tell the best story you can.
Right.
I just think that we're just not ready for that technology yet. But I think he's aware of that. He goes, no, this is a 10-year thing. He goes, I already knew, and I would imagine they probably knew it was going to be ugly at first because it's a new. You trying to create something big.
Anytime you create something new.
But people look at that.
My brother works for Meta.
So what? Yeah. What kind of insight do you have?
And I know another person that works for Meta too. And so
is there one in Chicago?
No, he's remote, but okay. I'm sure there's tons of people in Chicago, right? But he is a pretty big fan of Mark, and I trust his judgment. I think a lot of people, any big, Silicon Valley CEO, billionaire, trillion gazillionaire, everyone's always like, oh, this is a little piece of shit. But I think Mark is probably more genuine and like has people's best interest in heart more than maybe some other high-end executives and stuff like that. But on the VR stuff, so yeah, they've put a shit ton of money into it, and as most people know and have seen from stock prices and stuff like that, that they're really going all in on this bet. Yeah. And I think to a lot of people, they're like, oh, I could never see this happening. Like, what a joke, the metaverse, all this sort of shit. But to your point, and I think that like my brother and I have always personally felt that is going to be kind of like the future and stuff like that. But it's gotten pretty good just now. And I think that if they can kind of stick it out, that I think that things will just move to that point.
It's
because social media connected people, but then I don't know if you guys have done like on the newer generation headsets and stuff like that, but
they're vicious.
Just from the standpoint of like, being able to be in the same room, like, obviously in person is still going to be great, but like you could have family in other parts of the world and other parts of the country, and you guys could all Zoom, go into the same thing. You guys can play ping pong together. You guys can do this. You could play chess. You
anywhere in the
you
world.
could just like sit around the couch and just like seem like you're talking, and it's like it's still going to be significantly better than as if you're just on like a Zoom call looking at the laptop with your family, you know. And so I hope that they can pull it off, because they're bleeding a whole bunch, and a lot of people are pretty pissed about it. But
with any new technology,
I think it's gonna end up happening, and I'm down for that, man. I'm a technology fan. I think a lot of people, my privacy, all this sort of shit. It's like, oh, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, I'm the same way. He was talking. He made a good point. He was saying the trick is people don't want to, because they're still kind of gaudy and big. The idea is to try to get them to where you're wearing like some Ray-Bans, and if you maybe way down the future, you use some fucking contacts, and you're really killing it. So he said that's going to be the hardest part.
Yeah, and the actual physical technology.
But here's the reason why I brought him up, because Joe Rogan kept questioning him about ethical things, right? Because a lot of people have ethical questions about Zuckerberg, and I get that when you're this mega conglomerate of things and you can control government, it's a big deal, right? So I think he gets it too when you're a multi-billion-dollar person. But you can tell that like, oh man, y'all still talking about that shit. I'm trying to connect more people. So maybe he could just be. He's not ignorant, so you could tell he's aware of the problems, but he's like also looking at the other side of it, and you could tell that he's like pain point. I'm trying to solve pain points, y'all. I understand this, and this is how we're combating that. But if you really looked at it from this perspective, this is what we can do.
He's allowing people to tell the stories. That's kind of his whole motive.
Yeah, I want
if you really study like
and connect.
Yeah,
so
the whole connection.
It just sucks because I'm and people just seen the clips on YouTube and shit like that. I'm telling you, I've seen at least 3 or 4 multiple hour podcasts on Mark Zuckerberg. I'm like, okay, bro, I don't feel, and I don't feel like he's this evil. You know, you can bullshit it, I guess. He comes off as like he's solving some big pain points.
Yeah, he understands the pain point that he solved with Facebook. So he's just trying to make that into
he's trying to solve the next big one.
That's all it is. And he has the technology and the money and the people and the resources to get it done. That's all it is. And people are always going to be, you know, they're always going to combat the newer technology and whatnot. But you have to, as a government system, you got to make sure all, you know, checks and balances and shit like that. But people live in fear of the next technology always.
Yeah, even
when the car came out.
Or the kaleidoscope. Swear to God. Yeah, I know you laughing. There was a story I read where, and maybe Gary Vee told me, the kaleidoscope, people, when it came out, people were like, oh, it's going to take over the world. Like, don't do it. It's bad. The kaleidoscope, the one. And then what it was, when you read that article, you would have thought if you just changed the word kaleidoscope with internet, it would have been the exact same thing.
Yeah, we always live in fear of the next thing.
And which right now is going to be AI. Right? That's going to be the next. I feel like it's kind of here already.
Yeah, but I said we've been living in this stuff, man. Anything that's so repetitive that is just done for us and stuff, and
but it still doesn't have. I don't know.
It doesn't have that feel, but
it doesn't have
to us yet. But we're in
thought. Whereas all it's doing is just running through its database of what they believe is the correct answer, right? I don't think it can generate. I think they're getting close. I don't know if you saw the one thing they like the Google had created 2 machines self-learning that were talking to each other in some language that we didn't know, and they had to shut it down. They were like, whoa, shut that down. They making up their own language already. Imagine 30 years from now. And then you got these robots that they're working on at Boston Dynamics. Have you seen these robots?
I have a photo on my phone. I saw one out while I was riding my bike last warm day. So I was on the north side. It was in like Skokie-ish area, like on the North Shore. And I was riding my bike, and I noticed like a bunch of people like taking photos and gathering in this like corner. I assumed it was like a deer or something like that, because it's kind of up there. But no, sure enough, it was one of the Boston Dynamics dogs, and they had
they had the dog. Those are scary.
They had this little girl there talking. I'm trying to pull it up here and talk at the same time, but it was really cool. Boston Dynamics actually, when I started seeing that shit, I was like, that's going to be the future too. They actually got bought by Hyundai. Hyundai's the head company.
Which is interesting.
Owns them now, but
what they trying to do?
Dude, I mean, they're on it. Yeah.
So, wait, what we got going on?
Because Hyundai is not an American. It's not an American business. Oh, that's legit. That's legit. That's legit. Down the street and see this shit.
Yeah.
Ain't those like hella scary though? Imagine if they just lost their minds. I'm serious. You can think that thing killed that thing would you'd be done. There's actually an episode on Black
There's no one there like running it, you know, like
Wait, was you out in the wild?
Well, like, dude, it's in a nice
That's
part
wild.
of town. You know, some
Oh,
well-off
shit.
guy, and I don't think you can just buy these. So I think you
Hell
probably
no.
had
I
connections.
bet you they cost
but-
like 50 grand.
Oh, they probably twice to 4 times that.
Oh, this is
Yeah.
crazy.
I
So
would
you're going 100,000?
minimum, honestly.
How much is a Boston Dynamics robot dog?
The little canine thing, I bet you, dude. It's probably 100 to 200K.
Gotta be the price of a house.
But anyway, yeah, there's no guy.
269 bucks.
Yeah.
What?
No. Well, this hey.
This is on
it's
Craigslist.
75K.
75K.
Yeah, you can order right now.
That, dude.
75K right there. That's the Boston Dynamic dog.
Well, and see, hey, whoa.
You could
this
probably,
one was upgraded,
put that on
right?
credit.
Oh,
He
it
had,
had the upgrade?
He had some additional attachments, you know?
Right. I see one with a whole monitor on it.
Yeah. Okay, but that's less than I would.
Okay, so
anyway.
the more you
So
add
maybe
to
he
it.
just
So the base model was 75 grand.
But you could put that on credit.
But there were a bunch of kids around it, and like
Would you want that?
I immediately.
If you can make some use of it.
I don't.
Right now, if you can get it for free, would you accept it?
Yeah, of course I'd take.
Of course
All
I.
right. Okay. Better quick. All right. Fine. Would you pay 10 grand for it?
No.
Probably
that
not.
was
Well,
close.
again, with like the idea that
It's still worth
investment.
75 grand.
that it has to work for me. Like I can't just like flip
Yeah,
it.
gotta-
but
that's what I'm saying, it gotta work for you.
I don't know what I even.
Could
For
you ride
free,
kids?
it's like if you had to just use this, like I'd do it just for the memes and because it's free. But like I don't. What
Yeah,
would
you
this
could probably
dog
just have
do?
your own little Facebook page or something. That'd be great.
Actually, yeah.
You probably
it will
crush
blow
if
up.
If he
Yeah.
could run if the dog
That
could
would
run
be
the
a good
podcast,
investment.
then we'd be good here. But
That would be a good. You could just walk it down the street and you'll go social
But what if
media
you can like
blow-
make it get you a beer or something? I think you can like make it do stuff.
is that worth 10 grand? I don't know.
What if you never had to get up and
If
do
you
nothing?
showed it.
Or if you're like, help me piss.
Hold my I guess.
Hold my-
That's where we're coming anyway. Hey,
what
what time are we at?
we're a little over, an hour, but it's all good.
So really quick, have y'all ever done about exposure therapy? Have you ever done something that you wanted to do uncomfortable on purpose? You're like, okay, I want to make myself. Better question. When was the last time you made yourself uncomfortable on purpose?
Yesterday.
What was it?
I was modeling nude, and I wanted to. It was kind of hot in the room, but I wanted to keep myself a little cold.
How hot?
It was boiling hot in this actually room. It was fucking. I was like sweating and shit. I had to put a big ass fan. But at a certain point, I got really, really like cold and chilly. But I was like, I kind of want this cold chill to kind of like just keep me.
For my nipples.
Yeah, I kind of did. Well, I just kind of needed to kind of keep me awake and like not awake, but like alive and like just on my shit. Like I needed a little.
Was you a
I
little tired?
needed to feel. No, it wasn't that I was tired. It's just like when you're modeling and you're naked and whatnot. Sometimes like you it's a lot of pain points that you're dealing with. So you realize like you have to feel. So that's just one thing that I do to like keep myself occupied. I'm feeling something. I'm feeling some discomfort or something like that.
So you just said, what did you do that was the uncomfortable thing?
I was cold.
So you just said,
My body was cold. I was naked.
And
I
you
decided to keep this fan on me because it was cold.
Oh,
But it
okay,
was
that
cold.
was a
So
choice.
for that 25-minute session, I had to keep it on me.
so you meant
that I could, like,
physically uncomfortable.
you asked for something that was
Okay,
uncomfortable.
so yeah, let me.
I put myself
let
in a
me re-ask it.
situation to make it uncomfortable.
When's the last time you? But you didn't do it? Did you do it for mental?
I feel like, it's all connected. I'm mentally, I have to focus and be cold while my body isn't chilly. While I can't move and whatnot. It's a whole body.
I thought you said.
process.
I thought you wanted to help keep you up because you were a little tired.
No.
Oh, I read that wrong.
Okay.
That's why I was like, oh shit.
Nah, I was just trying to make myself uncomfortable so that I can like have a feeling on my body.
What about you, Tom?
I knew you were gonna. Honestly, I don't know. I feel like I tried. I think like most people, I try not to put myself in uncomfortable situations, but not because I'm like terrified about it. But I can't think of anything off the top of my head where I was like, I'm gonna do this just to do it.
Yeah, because I feel like it's shocking how much it improves you. Like your like comfortability of being like alive.
Yeah, that's kind of what I meant by that. It's like, I'm sorry, go ahead. I don't
No,
wanna cut you off.
but I think that you're right because I
put myself
the
in like
more-
bodily
the
situations.
more
alive.
I feel like I faced that demon. It goes back to that quote. I'm telling you, this quote is a top 5 quote for me. The treasure you seek is inside the cave you're afraid to enter. And I'm like, I can see how that's a thing for a lot of people, you know. And let's say you want this thing, you're gonna have to you have to beat that in order to get it. And typically it's whatever that thing is you got to overcome. If you can overcome that, you'll get it. You know, it's like a guardian threshold. There's always that thing, and if you can overcome that. But and it feels like for me personally, the more I do it, but I still feel it like sometimes it'll take me a whole day to come to do it when I know I'm going to do it. And I'm like, why am I feeling this way? When I've already done it and I still feel it way, but you got to do it. But it doesn't make sense because I know, because I'm like, well, you got the spotlight effect. I know they don't care. And that's what ultimately gets me to do it. But I'll still have the feeling of like being part of humans and humans noticing.
I think
that's your uncomfort.
That's always going to be there, man. I feel like big professional speakers probably still get a little hyped before going on stage, you know? Musicians, like I'm sure, I don't care how many shows you've done, there's like probably got to be like a little bit
of that little juice.
The Rolling Stones, yeah, like there's that like, here we go fucking feeling, you know? I mean, I'm sure everyone, I don't think you're ever going to completely dodge that.
Yeah, and I feel like once you get over the hump, like for instance, to go out on stage, you got that feeling, you're like, oh shit, the anxiety is reaching up. And then once you're in it, it almost goes away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that psychology is what you're trying to flip people into understanding. Like once you're in it, it's like a whole different feeling from when you're the part before you decided to actually do it. You know? So like when you're holding the phone and whatnot, you're going through the restaurant earlier. Before that, you have the anxiety, but when you're going through it, that's a whole different psychology that your brain is in, because you're like you were talking about with Travis Scott, like you're seeing it from like the actual perspective of doing it. So,
and then it's something about documenting it too. Something to knowing that I can go back and look like, dude, you can go back. You did that.
That's a special feat too. Yeah.
So now, like when I go to like, you know, if I'm picking up a sandwich or something, like and then like another big one, bro. The video that went viral was about talking loud, and not really loud. I kind of made it clickbaity, but the idea was to speak up and enunciate and then be like fill your space with your voice. Because I know a lot of people, including myself, I've realized like I'm talking down, like almost quiet on purpose to not be seen, like just kind of just stay in your bubble. You part of this. Everyone's kind of doing their own thing, and I'm like, but I personally, and it's not for everybody, but personally, I felt like, why am I doing that? I have energy. What's wrong with being, you know, me? And I feel like, and if you don't desire, because a lot of people are like, well, no, I want to be soft. Well, then you're good. But it's for the people who know that you're soft-spoken, and then the reason being is because you don't feel quite worthy of being not soft-spoken. Like some people would look at someone who speaks a little louder and say, damn, like, okay, that man commands the space of that room. That person, you can tell that person's boom. And it's typically the pitch of your voice. And I notice it. And then like a lot of people say, oh, I can never. I'm telling you. And the way you do this by slowly doing it. Whatever, then it just go just a little bit above that. And that was the video that went apeshit because it's true. And a lot of people need that. And then you read the comments and it's like, I've been doing, and then like people in the lives, like I saw you from that video about speaking louder. I've been doing it ever since, and it's literally changing my life.
Right.
Just to do something that you wouldn't, and something that I needed though, because I'm like, why am I talking so quiet? Like, it's okay to talk up a little bit, you know. And then you get the whole, and some of the comments from Black people too, is that we already have that stigma, you know, that like Blacks are boisterous, and then I'm like, so we were talking about, you know, Blacks being cool and shit earlier. And Blacks tend to do something just different.
Yeah.
But then society sometimes looks at that as fucked up, but then we make money off of that, you know, certain things. So it's like, who's to say, like, for instance, wearing a bunch of jewels.
Yeah.
The Americanized way of wearing a bunch of jewels is maybe you don't want to do that because you want to come off as this is the way, and that's the system. We have that system in place. But if you go to all kind of ancient African, they always had tons of jewels. That was like all the pictures depict people, royalty with jewels, and that's like our thing as a culture. But then sometimes we're told to look down upon too much jewelry because it makes you seem. But like, what if it's okay to be full of energy? I mean, it gets culturally appropriated all the time. Our dances and shit, and you know, and the words we say, people make, and they make money off of that shit.
Right.
So it's just like it's crazy. It's okay to be you.
Absolutely.
And we'll end it now. But the cool thing about you, the person, Tom, De'Eric, myself, nobody knows your story like you do. So if there was ever a story to tell, you should probably tell your story because you would know it. You would know the nuances.
Yeah.
You would know the little shit that makes you think unique, right? But I promise you, out of the 8 billion motherfuckers out there, that there's other motherfuckers that can relate to whatever thing that you think that you're dealing with alone. You're not. And then you can until you talk about that shit, then you realize there's a whole community of people. You are not alone because a lot of us feel this fucking way.
Yeah.
And then if you can create that fucking community, and then everyone's starting to feel better, and you got that just vibe, and that's what I'm kind of trying to do.
I love it.
So
I love it.
Derek, where can they find you?
Pretty Cool Poses. You can find me.com. I'm going to be opening myself up to doing a lot more modeling with individuals too. So portrait modeling, commercial modeling, anything like that. So I'm going to be opening up some space for that as well. And I'm going to be signing up for a second city coming up pretty soon.
I'm doing that with you. I'm going to do some improv
and whatnot. So yeah, just developing the chops some more and putting it around some actual community of people who are on the same page. So gonna start that up next year too. So.
Have you ever heard about what improv could do for you? Have you ever done it?
No, but I fuck with Second City.
Okay, so like I've read about taking improv classes, even if you're not trying to be in the space of like, being seen, just as a regular person, that it's like mind-blowingly good. There's like a bunch of different features, a bunch of different things that can help you with just as a person.
Absolutely. Trying to be the best person I can be too with it.
And then if you add the fact that you're going to meet other people who and most of people are doing that probably because they want to be more comfortable in front of a camera or something like that, or public speaking.
Right.
But yeah, I want to do that shit too. Cause, and I want to do that for years because I just knew I want to be comfortable on the, especially if there's people, strangers you don't know.
Right. And we're already kind of in that, very, that's our type of thing anyway. We're very much, that's why we were in the service industry and whatnot. We're very jovial with people, know how to connect and whatnot. So it all makes sense to actually take that next step.
Yeah. It's like
and just surround yourself with a community of people who on that. That's what it is, man. Just people skills. Being a community of people skills.
Tom, where can they find you, man?
ChicagoPodcast.studio.
Oh,
great videos, by the way.
Yeah,
thank you guys.
Yeah, that's been.
Do you have socials?
Yeah, at Chicago Podcast Studio.
Okay.
And Nova Digital, I suppose. INNOVA.
Hey.
Yeah, man. Hey, I'm telling y'all from experience. Y'all should check him out.
Hell yeah.
He get you right. I'm saying that I'm attaching my brand to what he provides, and that's a big fucking deal to me.
Absolutely.
And I don't know if y'all know, but I take my shit serious.
Huh?
So
it's probably been about a year too. I got to look up when your first session
was.
But
it's
probably about a year since we've been.
Podiversary.
You can find me at caresnone.com or Chris at Chris Caresnone on any platform. YouTube, you watching on YouTube, that's done. TikTok is actually blowing up right now. Instagram,
Go
Facebook,
ahead, TikTok,
whatever you want. And as always, Caresnone.
Yeah.
Nigga.